Good evening, and thanks for joining us for the 10 o'clock edition of Source 16 News. I'm Tammy Hancock. Topping our news is a respected GOP leader who served as U.S. Senator Mitch McConnell's top aide for more than 2 decades has signed on to assist Hopkins County Attorney Todd Papoul's campaign. Papoul announced today that Larry Cox will serve as his campaign chairman. Although former Supreme Court Justice Joseph Lambert is considering a run for the Attorney General's race, to date, Papoul is the only Republican who has officially entered the race. So far, no candidates have filed to run in the party's primary against incumbent Democratic Attorney General Jack Conway, who is seeking re-election. Well, lots of kids got to enjoy another snow day as many area schools closed for a second day due to winter weather. But schools were not the only ones that were affected by the snow. Freedom Waste in Hopkinsville delayed their trash pickup routes a whole day. They will be running their routes 1 day late for the rest of the week. And traffic school classes were also canceled statewide. Salt trucks were out in full force. Crews in most counties were treating or spot treating to clear roadways of snow, and even some plowing was needed along some highways in counties along the Ohio River. Transportation Cabinet spokesman Keith Todd says there is some concern about the potential for refreezing on bridges and overpasses as temperatures are expected to drop into the mid-teens overnight. He says crews will continue to spread salt and calcium chloride as appropriate, but the low temperatures will limit the impact of ice-fighting chemicals during the nighttime hours. And for all you parents and students, as of news time, we had not received word of any school closings for tomorrow. If there are any school closings, tune in tomorrow morning at 6 to get the latest on those on Wake Up Western Kentucky. And of course, we were just speaking of salt trucks. A Webster County Highway Department employee and his passenger were injured this morning when his salt truck overturned on Kentucky 132. According to state police, 27-year-old Jacob Bumpus of Slaughters was driving a 2000 International dump truck in the city limits of Dixon around 7:40 when the engine stalled as he was traveling down a hill, which caused the dump truck to run off the road and overturn on the driver's side. Bumpus and his passenger, 28-year-old Derek Parrish of Dixon, were transported by ambulance to Methodist Hospital in Henderson for treatment. Meanwhile, icy road conditions are being blamed for a wreck on Interstate 24 in Christian County yesterday morning that injured 3 Missouri residents. The Sheriff's Department reports the single vehicle wreck occurred around 5:10 Monday morning on I-24, about 4 miles east of Oak Grove, as the 52-year-old Scott City, Missouri driver was traveling east. Deputies say the driver lost control of his pickup truck due to the icy road conditions and spun off the south side of the road into a ditch where the truck overturned. The driver and 2 Cape Girardeau residents were transported by ambulance to Gateway Medical Center in Clarksville for injury assessment. Oak Grove Police Chief Milton Perry is back on the job. Perry's attorney Rick Bowling told Source 16 that Perry was placed on administrative suspension during a 2-month investigation by Kentucky State Police. Bowling says, among other allegations, someone from within the department accused Perry of taking evidence from the evidence room, but the investigation later proved that to be completely false, as Perry has never handled evidence before. Kentucky State Police Detective Steve Bryan presented Perry's case to the Christian County Grand Jury last Friday. Bowling says the jury found that Perry did not violate any laws and criminal charges were not necessary. Today, the administrative suspension was dropped and Perry was reinstated as police chief. A Clarksville man who was previously convicted of complicity to murder was officially sentenced in Christian County Circuit Court today. Judge John Adkins sentenced Kenneth Hudson to 25 years in prison after he was found guilty by a jury for the May 30th, 2008 shooting death of 18-year-old Clarksville resident Shiara Acevedo Oliveira, who was found dead near Carter and Bands Road in Oak Grove. Judge Adkins also denied a motion made by Hudson's public defender, Lucian Cisney, for a new trial. After sentencing, Judge Adkins spoke to Hudson about his actions during trial.
Say, Mr. Hudson, that listening to testimony in your case, I think that your behavior is utterly reprehensible. And I've prosecuted a lot of murder cases and I've presided over several more. But I don't believe I've ever had a case case troubled me as much as yours did.
Meanwhile, Hudson's co-defendants Jordan Young and Derek James also appeared together in Christian Circuit Court, where Judge Atkins continued their cases until March 9th. A remembrance ceremony honoring 14 fallen 101st Airborne Division soldiers is scheduled to take place tomorrow afternoon at the local post. According to Fort Campbell officials, the ceremonies are held each month to honor local soldiers who were killed in action while supporting operations Iraqi and enduring freedom. Military officials state the ceremonies are open to any soldier, family, and the community who wish to attend the event. The remembrance ceremony will be held tomorrow afternoon at 4 at the Fort Campbell Family Readiness Center. Christian County Fiscal Court conducted routine business during its first meeting of the new year and term. Magistrates unanimously approved the Christian County Sheriff's Office 2011 budget for over $2.9 million. The new budget also reflects a $150,000 allowance to go towards fuel, which is a $50,000 increase from last year's allowance. In other action, magistrates approved a deceased farm animal disposal assistance program agreement.
We're being awarded this. It's just a matter of you all authorizing me to sign this document agreement there. We're going to be able to get $7,500 grant to help us with this program.
Fiscal Court also approved adopting the Christian County Jail and Restricted Custody Center policy and procedure manuals and inmate rules and regulations. In other business, magistrates postponed taking action on a Kentucky USA encroachment application until the next fiscal court meeting.
After the fact, we've already done some things out there. So they said that they would clean up some items that were out above ground in our ditch line or on our right-of-way. They gave us those assurances. You can see from this letter, he said that, they wanted to do it. Chuck, you say as far as you know, it has not been done?
As of the middle of last week, it has not been done.
Well, then it'd be my suggestion that we just pass on it until they do what they said they would do.
Magistrates then approved nominating 5 people to serve 3-year terms on the Little River Water Quality Consortium and 2 people to serve 2-year terms on the Christian County Extension District Board. Judge Tribble then read a lighthearted letter from the sister of the late Bill Bruce, Debbie Bruce, about the former magistrate. The next fiscal court meeting is scheduled for Tuesday morning, January 25th at 8:30. A 21-year-old Beach Creek man was injured when he crashed his car in Muhlenberg County this morning. Adam Robertson was driving on Kentucky 176 around 8:30 when state police say about 1 mile east of Greenville, he lost control of his car on the wet roadway, ran off the road and hit a ditch and driveway tile. Robertson was transported by ambulance to Muhlenberg Community Hospital for treatment. The Mayfield-Graves County Habitat for Humanity is a little bit richer thanks to a donation from the Tennessee Valley Authority yesterday. A TVA representative donated $2,000 for building energy-efficient and affordable homes in Graves County. The homes are net zero designs, meaning they nullify any carbon emissions. The designs are sketched by architecture students at the University of Kentucky. As a child, most sons aspire to be just like their fathers when they grow up. 101st Airborne Division soldier Private First Class John Pillow of Duluth, Georgia is no exception. The private has decided to join the Army just like his dad, Task Force Med East Chief of Operations Colonel James Pillow. In addition, both soldiers are currently deployed in Afghanistan in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. According to Fort Campbell officials, the younger Pillow is also in the medical field like his father and has been able to cross paths with him in Afghanistan on multiple occasions. The private stated, quote, "It's really cool that we are both in Afghanistan right now. Not too many people get to see their fathers or sons when they are deployed." The father and son are scheduled to return from their deployment sometime in the spring. The first woman has filed for the 2011 Kentucky statewide election seeking the office of Kentucky State Treasurer. Republican Casey Crosby, a 3-term Lexington-Fayette Urban City Council member, submitted her paperwork today. Crosby said in a release, quote, "Kentuckians have made it clear they expect their leaders to make effective and efficient use of their tax dollars, keeping spending low. The office is more than just a requirement of the Constitution, and I believe Kentuckians should expect more of their treasurer." Crosby went on to say she will work to restore significance to the position and deliver value to the taxpayer while continuing to hold spending in check. Crosby, also a graduate of the University of Kentucky, and her husband Scott have 3 children, ages 11, 9, and 7. A 52-year-old Hopkinsville man is facing a slew of meth-related charges after a meth lab was found on Quisenberry Lane over the weekend. Wayne Vowell of Pin Oak Drive, Hopkinsville, was taken into custody at his home and charged with manufacturing methamphetamine, possession and tampering with anhydrous ammonia with intent to manufacture meth, theft by unlawful taking anhydrous ammonia with intent to manufacture meth, and other meth-related offenses. A Christian County Sheriff's Department report released today says the property owner called the Emergency Communications Center Saturday night around 10:30 regarding a strong chemical odor coming from a shop building at 3255 Quisenberry Lane. After getting permission for a search, deputies reportedly found numerous items consistent with manufacturing meth, including 3 containers of anhydrous ammonia, pseudoephedrine, excessive amounts of meth, and other items. Vowell was booked into the Christian County Jail. Meanwhile, 2 Hopkinsville residents are behind bars facing drug charges after police found the pair inside a cave. The Christian County Sheriff's Department arrested 45-year-old Christopher Good of Deepwood Drive and 36-year-old Michelle Adkins of Normandale Saturday morning around 12:30 on Pruitt Lane. Deputies were dispatched to Pruitt Lane to check out a suspicious vehicle on the side of the road where the landowner reported he was having trouble with people trespassing in a cave on his property. Police say Good and Adkins were found inside the cave digging for arrowheads, and they possessed a clear tube that contained meth inside it and 2 meth pipes. Good was charged with possession of a controlled substance, meth, and marijuana, and Adkins was charged with possessing meth and drug paraphernalia. The pair were booked into the Christian County Jail.